is it really possible for us to be able to build a world that is with zeros? Because that is what Professor Mohammed Yunus envisioned. And this week was a blessed week because this professor who believes that we can be able to create a world without poverty was around. He was hosted at Tangaza University College, and in his 30 minutes speech, he actually believed and advocated that it is really possible to have a world without the three zeros. Welcome. This is Marketplace Believers, an online platform that engages, equips, and encourages believers to say, Inawezekana. My name is John, and today I just I bought a paper because I saw an article written why Nobel Prize winner is betting on social entrepreneurs. And your guess is right, it is no other but Mohammed Yunus. And this is a 2006 Nobel laureate winner. And he is just the guy that one would want to fall in love with, because he believes that it is really possible to make a world with without poverty. Now, what are the three zeros, by the way? The three zeros are what we call a global economy. He believes that the world can live without with zero global warming, and then he also believes that it is also possible to live a world where there is no unemployment. For him, he really believes that it is really possible. And then the third one is, so I said, without global warming, then zero unemployment, and zero wealth concentration at the top. You see, the kind of systems that we are presented with, actually, when we work, the wealth goes up there, and it leaves the people down here very poor. So for Professor Mohammed Yunus, he completely believes that we can be able to attain a world without those three zeros. So let me ask you, what are the secrets that can help us to be able to achieve those? He shares 10, but for the sake of this broadcast, we shall share 7 of them. The first one is that have a vision. And for him, the vision is very simple, that we can be able to create a museum of poverty, that we can be able to call our children and take them to a museum where we have stored artifacts of poverty and explain at a certain time, 50 years ago or 10 years ago or 30 years ago, there was something that was called global warming, there was something that was called unemployment, there was something that was called social capital, wealth concentration at the top. He believes completely that it is possible for us to have a museum of poverty. And he challenges, and even during his speech, he chided the politicians who actually tells people that it is possible to do away with global warming yet doing nothing, and he asked them to do something about it. He also talked about the technology that actually is replacing human effort, and he said these efforts, much as they are good, what they are doing in today, they are simply killing unemployment. So we believe that we can be able to create a better world and a good world if only we are able, we take away poverty, and it tells everybody to make it happen. So the first rule is to have a vision, and to have a clear vision that it is possible to create a museum of poverty. Rule number 2 is to start small. Find those tiny steps. Don't go for those giant leaps. Just try to do those small things that you are able to do. You know, the beauty about the small steps is that they are doable. Is that you can do as many as you can, and you can celebrate them. You can be able to see them, and that's how he began with the Grameen Bank, the bank that offers loans to the poor people that the banks actually dismisses as credit unworthy or unworthy of credit. You know, and so he says start small, and so we encourage you to start small. For him, he believes that every human being is an entrepreneur, and so he asks us not to begin big but just to start small. Begin small. That is rule number 2. Rule number 3, according to Muhammad Yunus, is to challenge things, to allow things to go unchallenged. And this is what he did when he saw the poverty within his city of Bangladesh. What he did is that he challenged. And in his speech, in one of the speeches that I was watching, he asked, why should a bank describe a poor man as uncreditworthy? And for him, he believes that the narrative or the question should be banks should be offering money to everybody because they are creditworthy. You know, and we said the other day that when you see a poor man, don't dismiss him as uncreditworthy. It's only that money that he lacks, but he has the brain and he has the capacity to use that money and to return it. So challenge those things. Don't attract. Don't be afraid of challenging things. You know, don't be afraid. Challenge things. Challenge things. Challenge. Why should we be living? Why should corruption be our biggest challenge when, especially in Kenya, when almost all of us are Christians and all of us are actually deeply religious people? Because if we don't subscribe to Christianity, then we subscribe to to Islam, or we subscribe to another religion. When we are notoriously religious, why should corruption be a menace in this country? We need to challenge that things. Why is it that there should be nepotism in government offices? Why should they be bureaucracy in this country? Those are things that we can challenge each other in this world. Rule number 4, I believe, is that don't be money oriented. In other words, don't work for money. You know, in this era, we know it's all about profit maximization. We don't talk about people first and then profit later. We talk about profit maximization. And so we actually don't care whether people are affected. You know, the drive is to get money. No wonder these days, have you not noticed that products are made to last for a short time? Normally during our days, you would buy iron sheets that would actually last 10, 15, 20 years. We would buy a bulb that would last almost a year or even more. But look at these days, they can't last for long, because the whole idea these days is so that you may get back and buy, because the whole issue today is profit maximization. You know, for him, he believes that, and I quote, that we want to create a civilization based on human values and not on profit maximization. So we don't need to be money-making robots. We need to work out and transform the society, be able to help the poor people, to be able to have coins in their pocket. That is the kind of narrative, that's the kind of thing that we need to do. We need to invest so that we can do away with global warming, so that the world can be a safer place for our children. Remember, the vision is to be able to create a museum of poverty. Rule number 5, according to Muhammad Yunus, of success is that become a job creator, not a job seeker. And I think this has everything to do with the education system. What kind of education system are we having? One that actually teaches people to be job seekers instead of job creators. You know, all human beings are are entrepreneurs. They can solve a problem, because that's the whole aspect, that's the whole essence of entrepreneurs. They find a problem and they offer a solution to it, and people are willing to pay for that solution. They are that kind of innovative, and we encourage the policy makers, especially on education, to develop an education that actually encourages the students, the learners, to spot problems and offer solutions. And then I think that is we've talked about make it happen. We've talked about start small. We've talked about challenge things as number 3. We say don't be money oriented. Then number 5 is start small. Start now. The best time to start is now. There is no other better time to start changing the world, transforming the world, but starting now. Some of us wait for that big moment, for that great moment to start doing things. But for Muhammad Yunus, he simply believes that we should start doing things now. And let's not procrastinate. If you want to fight corruption, let's start now. If you want to build a wonderful economy, let's start now. If you want to fight global warming, stop unemployment, let's start now. That is according to Muhammad Yunus. So, and then number six, finally, is don't be limited. Don't be limited. Think of blue sky. Think without limitations. Think without borders. If everything is actually going out for you, what is it that you do? And look at the story of Muhammad Yunus when he began the Grameen Bank. In the midst of being criticized, everybody was laughing at him. Everybody says you can't trust these poor people. These people, if you give them money, they will not return. They will not pay. They are not credit worthy. And for him, he thought different. He said, these people, they only lack money. They have the brain, they have the trust. And Grameen Bank has no paperwork. It's simply a trust on the banker and the lendee. And when these poor people were given that money, the good thing is that they paid the money. And guess what? Muhammad Yunus is completely committed to replicate this kind of social enterprise across the world. The secret of Grameen Bank, as we have said, is simply trust. So is it possible to build a world without with 3 zeros? The answer is it's really possible to build such a world. I would encourage you to pick today's paper, that is East Africa Standard. You can go to page 4 in what they call the pullout, and you can be able to read more about Muhammad Yunus. This is Marketplace Believers, an online platform that engages, equips, and encourages believers to say, inawezekana. Want to believe that special broadcast has been a blessing to you. We encourage you to subscribe the subscribers button on the Marketplace Believers channel. Please, we want to hit 150 mark. Please, if you're there and you're watching us on the YouTube, please, we encourage you to hit that subscribers button so that every time when we upload a video, you can be able to find us. Until next time when we come back on air, remember next week we've lined up wonderful things, so please keep following us. And at this time, my name is John Kimani. Remember what you always say here, inawezekana. Bless you.